Thank you so much for watching Landumc Goes There. Please subscribe and hit the like button and the bell notification button. Coma is a 1978 mystery thriller film that's based on the 1977 novel of the same name that was written by Robin Cook. Director Michael Crichton acquired the film rights for the book, and the film was produced by MGM. The cast included Genevieve Bujold, Michael Douglas, Elizabeth Ashley, Richard Widmark, and Rip Torn. There were two actors that have much smaller roles. Tom Selleck appears in one of the first movies I remember seeing him in, and also the same is true with Ed Harris. The storyline goes that Dr. Susan Wheeler is devastated when her best friend is pronounced brain dead after minor surgery at her hospital. Looking at the records later on, Susan finds that over the previous year, a number of other fit young people have ended up the same way. She comes across two similarities in all the cases. They all took place in the same operating room, and all the comatose bodies were moved to a place called the Jefferson Institute. Feeling increasingly alone about the facts that she knows, she continues to investigate the problem. But she starts to wonder if she can trust even her own boyfriend in the matter. The director was a close friend of the person that wrote the book, Robin Cook. They had met when Crichton was doing his postdoctoral work in biology at La Jolla's Salk Institute. Cook was a Navy physician at the time, stationed in San Diego. Crichton described this movie as like a Western. If the doctors are the bad guys, and they also are the good guys. Crichton says that the lead in the book was a female, but the studio didn't want it that way. They wanted it to be a male, and they specifically wanted Paul Newman to play that part. The director fought this notion. He felt like that if a man was put into this film, it would be much more of a conventional thing. Crichton was a graduate of the Harvard Medical School, and he sought to avoid depicting graphic details of medical procedures in the film. He did this in order to avoid frightening the audiences away from seeking medical care that they needed. I find this fact completely amazing because that's all this film does, is make you not trust hospitals or doctors. Filming started on June 20th, 1977 in Massachusetts. Shooting took place at Boston City Hospital and then also the University of Southern California in their dissection room. The mysterious styled building that served as the film's Jefferson Institute was at the time the regional headquarters for Xerox Corporation that was located in Lexington, Massachusetts. It currently serves as the head office for Stride Rite, an American children's footwear company. Other filming locations included the Boston Mass Transit Subway, Rockport, Marblehead, and Los Angeles City Hall, Century City, and Culver City Studios. Michael Douglas loved this film from the start. He states that it's the first time he's ever been offered a project that had a good salary, that was well laid out, had an excellent cast, and a great director. The movie cost about $4.1 million to film, but this was completely offset by a pre-sale of TV rights that were worth $3 million. Bear in mind that the whole time they were filming this, they were planning on doing it as a TV movie too. So some special things were done to make it viewable for TV. As I mentioned before, the director had intentions of not scaring audiences from hospitals, but that's exactly what he did. Many physicians and hospital administrators claimed that that occurred. They noticed a decline in organ transplant donations as it dropped in direct correlation to the film. And a hospital in Tampa, Florida, actually had to remove the number 8 from the door of their operating room suite because of patients' complaints. They shot 2 complete versions of all the scenes of the coma patients in the coma clinic because one version had them semi-naked while the other that was set for television had them completely covered up. The people that played the coma patients being suspended by wires in the coma clinic, they underwent a terrible time with a lot of physical discomfort and strain to get this stuff filmed. They could only stay up there in 6-minute bursts. Because of this strenuous activity, these actors were paid more than normal extras got. It was technically very complicated because the people could only hang there for 6 minutes. The suspension system was actually only from the hips and the neck, not the rest of the wires. But because you had to act like you were suspended by wires that were everywhere, a great strain was put on the back. They had special tables built that were on jacks, somewhat like car jacks, and the people would sit on these tables in between shots. And then they would go back into their hanging positions, and the tables would be rolled away and moved out of camera's view. They used around 16 real people for these shots, and about 15 dummies. But most of what the camera sees is real people. The scenes from this coma storage were the shocking part of this film, and it was used in numerous posters for the movie. It was upsetting at the time. I remember people commenting on how dramatic and how scary this idea was. To have people completely suspended by wires that passed through their wrists and ankles. It was quite the shocking deal when the movie came out. The producer of the film, Martin Ehrlichman, said that his main purpose in making the film was to do for hospitals what Jaws did to scare people to death about oceans and sharks. People have somewhat of a primal fear of the ocean, and Jaws just aggravated that phobia. In a really similar manner, Coma accented one's primal fears of hospitals. This is an even stronger phobia because a person can always refrain from going into the water, but cannot always avoid the necessity of going into the hospital. The story contains many elements in reality, along with quite a bit of fictional stuff too. But the basis of people having the fear of surgery, the fear of dying at the hands of your doctor, those are very real fears that people encounter. This thing scares the dickens out of you. It makes you never want to set foot in a hospital again. And for sure, never have surgery. If you've never seen this jaw-dropping movie from 1978, take a look at it. It'll sure shake you up. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll continue to chase the classics.